welcome to Miss Floris's virtual classroom. Today is November 5th and we are doing science today. We opened our unit yesterday, our rockin' unit. We're learning about rocks for this unit, and so I just wanted to remind you that we are doing 2.7a. We're learning about rocks and minerals, and this entire unit is talking about how we're going to observe rocks. We're going to be thinking about their textures, their size, and then their color. So today we're going to be looking at some rocks, and we're going to be recording those observations, but right now we're going to be reading an article about rocks. So let me go ahead and change our screen to our article. And we started this article yesterday with Cal and Jake. We did our vocabulary yesterday, and now we're prepared to read this article. We're thinking about the different words we learned during our vocabulary lesson, right? So, and don't forget, from our very beginning of our science lessons, we learned about physical properties, and we're going to be revisiting those physical properties today. All right, and the first property we're going to be looking at are textures. Rocks have different textures. What's texture again? That was one of our vocabulary words that we learned yesterday. Texture is how the surface of something feels. How does it feel, right? If I have a water bottle, I might say that it feels smooth on the outside, right? If I have a blanket, I might say, oh, this is so soft. The texture is soft. If I had a bag and it has sequins on it like this one does, you probably have seen a bag like this, it's pretty rough, right? We can see how rough the little sequins are on it. So we're talking about the different textures of rocks, and even though you can't be holding these rocks in your hand, you can still use your eyes, and you can still use your imagination, and you can still use inferences, those personal experiences you've had before, to think about what these rocks might feel like. Let's take a look at our first rock. Look at all the little holes in this rock. Look at all the little edges on the sides of this rock. Even though I'm not holding this rock in my hand, using my eyes, I can see from the holes and the little ridges on the outside that this rock, is it smooth? No, it's not. This is going to be a very bumpy and rough rock. I can tell that by just looking at it. I don't necessarily need to hold it in my hand. I can tell. See, this rock is hard, rough, and bumpy. That's how I can tell how this rock feels. The texture of this rock is hard, rough, and bumpy. Let's take another picture. Let's look at this one. Look at all the little edges that we have that are sticking out in this rock. How would you describe the texture? Do you think it would be smooth? Do you think it would be sharp? Do you think it would be... What would you think this texture is going to be? It's going to be sharp, right? We don't think it's going to be rough, because if it was rough, there would be a lot of little bumps on it, right? Let's look at this picture. Look at these rocks. These rocks are super shiny. I can tell they've been in the water for a long time. And because they're shiny, I think they're going to be smooth. Look at this last rock we have. Look at all the little bumps and edges on it. Can you imagine what this rock would feel like? It would be rough. Let's keep going. The next way we're going to be using, the next physical property we're going to be using to observe our rocks is color. Look at the rocks right here. Some of these rocks are gray, are white, and some of them are yellow. These are the different colored rocks, right? We see that one big rock is gray, one big rock is white, one big rock is yellow. Let's look at these rocks. Look at these rocks. There's a bunch of different colors for these rocks. Some of them are red, some of them are pink, some of them are gray. Now this rock right here, though, this is a special rock. This is one big rock, but it is a bunch of different colors in this one rock. We can see specks of white, we can see some gray, we can see a red background. This rock is called speckled. It's speckled because there's specks of different colors in it. You can identify some rocks by their colors. Take, for instance, the color turquoise. Turquoise is blue and green together, right? It's a blue and green stone also. But if I was wearing a big old scarf, I could say I have a turquoise scarf, which means the color of my scarf is turquoise. But I can look on here and I can see turquoise is also the name of a rock. Sometimes the color of a rock will tell us what its name is. Look at the blue azurite. Whoa, that's a cool rock, but it's also blue. Blue azurite tells me that it's going to be a blue rock. There's speckled again. We see speckled granite, and we can see specks of white, of black, a little bit of this kind of pinkish color. It's a speckled granite, so that means it's one big rock, but it has different specks of color. Right? All right, we're going to go ahead and skip past this part. Let's look. The last thing we're going to use to help us observe rocks is size. Rocks are different sizes. You can estimate a rock's size. When you estimate, you're making an educated guess, right? How are you going to estimate? You're going to estimate by using pictures and things in the pictures to compare it to the rock. Take, for instance, look at this picture of this girl sitting on this rock. Look at the rock that she's sitting on. How would you estimate the size of that rock? I'll tell you. So I'm looking at this rock that this girl is sitting on and I'm thinking to myself, is this a small rock or a big rock? It's a big rock. How do I know it's a big rock? I'm making an estimate because the girl is sitting on it. So that means the rock has to be bigger than the girl in order for her to sit on it. Right? So this isn't a little rock. It's a big rock because it fits an entire person. Right? You can use words like bigger or smaller to describe the rock. So these rocks are blank than his finger. So look at the rocks in his hand. Are they bigger or smaller? They are smaller than the ones in his hand. Look at this big old rock. This man is climbing up the rock. This woman is already sitting on the rock. Is this rock big or small? This rock is big. They're climbing up this rock. It must be a huge rock. All right, now you can also use a ruler in order to help you measure how big a rock is. So look at this rock right here. You always want to place the rock so it lines up with the 0 on the ruler, and then you want to see how far it goes down the ruler. So this rock goes to about 5 centimeters. All right, so now we are going to look at some rocks ourselves. Let's go ahead and look at some rocks ourselves. So now this is how you're going to look at your rocks. Whenever you're in your course page, you're going to see your assignment. You're going to see something that says virtual rock box, click here. So you're going to click on there. Oh my gosh, it took me to a virtual mineral box. So these are rocks that I can look at virtually. Now I'm going to go back to my homeroom page. This is Miss Flores' homeroom page. Your homeroom page might look a little different. You're going to scroll down to your OneNote. So click on your OneNote. Remember, if you're already logged onto Schoology, it will log you on automatically. And my OneNote is going to look a little different because I'm a teacher. When you log onto your OneNote, it's going to take you to a bunch of folders. You're going to click on your name. Now, we're going to go ahead and click on Rock Detectives 11.5. It's going to be in your science folder. So for instance, if you're going here, you'll click on science and you'll see where it says Rock Detectives, right? This is my student, and then we can see where it says science, and then we click on Rock Detectives. Right? So I'm going to go ahead and go back because I don't want to fill out my students' Rock Detectives. So on your Rock Detectives, you're going to list the physical properties of your rock. You can pick any rock you want. You just need to make sure that you include the name of your rock. You include what kind of shape is your rock. How would you describe the shape of your rock? What texture is your rock? Do you think it's smooth? Do you think it's rough? Do you think it's bumpy? Do you think it's sharp? We're going to go more in depth in here. So let me go ahead, and I've already went on there. I clicked on my rock box. Remember, you click on it, it's going to take you right to your virtual rock box. And there are so many rocks in this rock box. And there was a couple really cool rocks, right? I might take one moment to just click through the different rocks and look at them. This is so cool. So I'm going to go ahead and pick one rock to look at. Okay, you only have to submit one rock for your OneNote. So I think I'm going to do this rock. It's called Biotite. Cool. So I'm going to be looking at the rock. I'm going to be looking at it, and then I'm going to go back, and it says name of my rock. What's the name of my rock? If I don't remember, I can click over here, and it says in the very corner the name of the rock. So this rock's name is Biotite. This rock is Howlite. This rock is Galenia. This rock is Muscovite. Whoa, cool. But I'm going to do Biotite. So I'm going to go ahead and type Biotite in here. Now, what shape is my rock? I think my rock looks pretty flat, right? I can see the other rocks have, you see this rock has a shape to it. This rock looks like a big old cube. Cool. This rock looks like a cube too, this calcite. But this rock is flat, and I can tell that my rock is flat too. So I'm going to go ahead and type in flat. If you picked a different rock, this rock looks like it's smooth. It looks like it's almost like a cylinder, right? Your shape is going to tell us what kind of shape do you think it is. You might also say, do you think this is a big rock or a little rock, right? I can tell that this is a big piece of rock. I think this is a little small rock. This is a flat little rock. Textures. Now, I'm going to look at my rock and I'm going to think, what do I think it's going to feel like? Right? If I'm looking at this rock, I think this rock's going to feel smooth, right? Because I don't see a lot of bumps on my rock. So I'm going to go ahead and write smooth where it says texture. If you had a different rock, if you had this rock, what kind of texture do you think it would have? I think it would be rough. I can tell by all the little ridges, it looks like it would be rough. What about this rock? Do you think it would be smooth or rough? It would be smooth. Let's take a look at another rock. Let's look at this rock. Do you think this rock would be smooth or rough? This rock would be rough. There's lots of little ridges on it. All right, and the last thing is color. So I'm going to look at my rock and I'm going to say I see black. I see a little bit of gray, but I see mostly black. So I'm going to go ahead and type in black. All right, and then I'm done. I have been a rock detective. I've given what kind of shape my rock has, what kind of texture my rock has, and then the colors. All right, that's it. Please make sure you go in your OneNote and you go to your Science tab to do your rock detective assignment today. Thank you so much, students.